And within 5 minutes, I get a call from Laura, my mother. And she says, Tommy, what the fuck? And let me tell you, getting a call from your mom at 11 a.m. on a Saturday when you're hungover and her starting it off with saying, Tommy, what the fuck? It's usually never good.
Nice.
The house that I lived in, guys, I think we've talked about that I lived in the track house when I lived at Penn, when I went to Penn, right? So your first year at school, you have to live in the college dorms. But then after that, you can kind of choose where to live. You can still live on campus, or you can live really anywhere. And I was invited to live with some of the upperclassmen in what we called the Deuce, but it was just our track house. The thing about this specific track house, though, was that it had been the track house for almost 10 years before I moved in. So that house was pretty torn to shreds by the time I moved in. It was just the track team house, like the main house when people associated an off-campus house with the track team. And it was this. It was called the Deuce. Why it was called the Deuce was, it could be a variety of reasons. The start of our address was a 2, so maybe it was on 42nd Street, so there's another 2. Maybe it was also just a piece of shit. I don't know. So when I was a sophomore, I moved into this house, guys. And it was dirty. Like I said, people had been living in that house for 10 years. And it had never really had a deep clean. So what we decided was, when my parents eventually came and looked at it, because I was like, hey guys, I need to decide on where I'm living. And these guys invited me to live with them. Is that cool if I do it? And my parents were like, is it roughly the same price as you living on campus? And I was like, yes. So they were like, fine, we would like to see the place. And I was like, oh, you guys probably can't see it until later, but I need to make a decision like now because they're waiting for me, or they need to ask someone else to live there. This was strategic because I knew that if my mother walked into that house before she said yes to me living there, it would have been a hard no, and she would have picked me up by the back of my pants and just thrown me out of that place because it was so dirty. So my mom, being the generous, loving mother that she is, said, okay, well, I get that you're living there. You've already agreed to live there. Why don't I order a cleaning service once for them to come and clean the place for you? And this is, I believe, in the fall of my sophomore year, if not fall of junior year. Doesn't matter. It all blends together. It's college. I was drunk. I was having a good time. It was fall. It was out of season. So I don't really, it's all mush. It's all mush. Did my mom bring me diapers? No, I had actually grown out of diapers at that point. Surprising, but I was no longer wearing diapers. So we fast forward to the weekend when the cleaning ladies are supposed to come. They're coming on a Saturday morning. And they're coming on a Saturday morning so that we can actually be there. It's not that we didn't trust the cleaning ladies. It was just that my mom wanted me to tell them what we wanted clean, because we specifically said we don't want them to clean anyone's bedrooms. It's just the main areas, the kitchen, and the 3 bathrooms. There was 1 on each floor. Us being the college kids we were, we had fun Friday night. We had a good time. We invited some people over. We drank some beer, potentially underage. It was probably junior year. I was probably overage, so it was probably legal. Whatever. But what we did was kind of dirtied up the place. And not terribly. And we were even cognizant that the cleaning ladies were coming the next day. So when we were going to bed, or even like before they came the next morning, I woke up and some of my friends woke up. Sharf was probably there. And we cleaned like the beer bottles and everything. So we got all that shit out of the way because we wanted them to focus on cleaning the We wanted them to focus on cleaning like the carpets and the hardwood in the kitchen. So now, Saturday morning comes. It's 11 a.m. The cleaning ladies arrive. Within 5 minutes of them arriving, I get a call from my mom. Now think about this. I had already went downstairs, let the cleaning ladies inside, as if we locked our front door. The door was probably wide open and they walked in. But I let them inside and kind of pointed them in the direction, was like, hey, yeah, this is kind of the area. And within 5 minutes, I get a call from Laura, my mother. And she says, Tommy, what the fuck? And let me tell you, getting a call from your mom at 11 a.m. on a Saturday when you're hungover and her starting it off with saying, Tommy, what the fuck? It's usually never good. And so I was terrified. I'm like, what? And she goes, I just got a call from the cleaning ladies and they said that there's no way they can clean this place because it's so dirty and there are used condoms in the middle of the floor. Let's backtrack to last night. The night before, we had a party. And by a party, it was just guys on the track team drinking a lot. There was definitely no used condoms. And so I'm sitting there racking my brain saying, what could these cleaning ladies possibly be doing? Like, are they trying to throw me under the bus? Like, why would there be a used condom in the middle of our living room? As I said, we were kind of drunk the night before. And it all started coming back that someone had taken a bunch of condoms from one of like the health, sex, safety seminars we went to and just had a bunch and like thrown them like in our main living room. Someone drunkenly decided to open up a few and blow up and make small like condom balloons. So overnight they deflated and kind of just were shriveled up on the ground. So the cleaning ladies naturally assumed, well, this is a college house. There's a shriveled condom pretty much on the ground over there. That's probably a used condom. Understandably, I don't even attempt to explain this to my mom. Because why would I? All I say is that, Mom, there's absolutely no way there are used condoms in our floor. Naturally, I went downstairs and they were there and we picked them all up. So that's fine. They start cleaning and it's probably 11:30 at this point. I get another call from my mom. I can barely believe it. I'm laying in my bed hungover. I can hear the vacuums going downstairs and I'm like, what could it possibly be now? What could it possibly be now? She calls me and says, well, the cleaning ladies called again and they had to dispatch another unit. These cleaning ladies called for fucking backup. They were so disgusted and scared of the house that they got another lady to come and clean the other parts of the house because they just knew they couldn't get it done in time. Luckily, they didn't discover anything else. I would say, though, that they cleaned for the next hour and a half. So they started at 11. They had the whole condom incident at 11:15 or so. We cleaned that up. 11:30, they called for backup. And now here comes the third person, probably like 11:45, and they cleaned for another hour and 15. But let me tell you, the women left at 1 o'clock. I tipped them as my mom told me to. And we decided to go see how they did. When I tell you that the kitchen looked absolutely no different than when we left it, I'm not lying. The kitchen looked the exact same because Sharf and I had cleaned it that morning. We had gotten off all the stuff. We kind of wiped down the counter. So there wasn't a whole lot for them to do except clean the floor. And We got back downstairs after they left and the floor was still the same. What we later found out was that Sharf and I, during the following summer, decided to try and deep clean the kitchen as well because it really was disgusting and we were kind of living there, so it made sense to clean it. It was literally impossible to clean that kitchen floor. You could almost like grind away at it enough with like a mop or even just like a sander to make the floor not sticky, but the dirt had just become part of the house. It was like the house had absorbed the dirt and it was making it stronger. So we were never gonna be able to clean it. So I can't really harp on the cleaning ladies that much. But they did clean our bathrooms, which I was eternally grateful for. Now that being said, those bathrooms got dirty again within probably a week, and that never really changed. But for that 1 week, I was very grateful. My mom also decided to never send a cleaning service there again because she said it was a massive waste of money and you guys should just clean yourself. And I was like, all right, I get it. That's fine with me. Moral of the story though, guys, and I don't know how much this really fits into other places, but if your mom ever orders you a cleaning service, just do a once over and make sure there are never any used condoms on the ground because it's gonna save you a lot of mental anguish and pain the next day. Because let me tell you, my mom to this day still brings that up to me. She still brings up, well, one time I sent cleaning people to the deuce, and she's telling this to her friends in front of me, like other like middle-aged women. And they're like, yeah, and Tommy just had used condoms all over the floor. I don't know how many times I have to tell her that there were not used condoms, but she's never gonna believe me.